known as the Enlightenment or the Renaissance was the necessary soil for the emergence of the Protestant Reformation. Over and against the quote-unquote irrational Roman Catholic Church with all of its superstitions about indulgences and relics and transubstantiation and papal authority, early Protestants sought a more rational faith, and they systematized their theological positions with great skill. Still, modernistic thought began to push the individual and the individual's perspective to the center of society. And out of this came new Christian expressions, those based not even on Protestant dogma, but on individual experience. George Fox emerged in 17th century England to elevate this individual experience to the center of Christianity. There's a sense in which he was a Pentecostal several centuries before Pentecostalism was birthed. George Fox did away with church buildings, he did away with ministers, ordained pastors, liturgies, and instead he championed the inner light of each believer. Their services included no music, and anyone could speak who felt moved by the Spirit, including women. George Fox never gave prepared sermons. He simply spoke only when drawn by the Spirit about the subject which he claimed the Spirit had given to him to speak about in the moment. He called his movement the Friends, but they would later become known by the insults of outsiders as Quakers due to the fact that sometimes they quaked, shook under the power of the Spirit. During the same time period, others emerged who had no problems really with the official doctrines or liturgies of the church. The problem as they saw it was that such doctrines and practices did not immediately lead to obedience to the Word of God in the lives of individuals. Philip Spener is often called the father of Pietism, a German who began to close the gap between clergy and laity. And he urged preachers not to talk about doctrine only, but to talk about practice, to talk about action. And he urged believers, therefore, to develop a small group of fellow believers devoted to personal devotions, prayer, Bible study. And in this way, Spener paved the way for modern evangelicalism in America and in the West. And finally, a third group of perhaps 200 folks called Moravians were mostly known for their missionary zeal. Although a small group in the early 18th century, they began to spread out to Africa, the Caribbean, India, South America, and also to the American colonies. On a ship to America, a young Anglican priest, who you probably heard of, named John Wesley, was impressed with the Moravians, their courage, their poise, their missionary zeal. Wesley recorded a conversation with the Moravian leader on the ship in his journal, who he had asked for advice about his own work as a pastor and a missionary. And according to Wesley's journal, the Moravian leader said to him, "My brother, I must first ask you one of two questions. Have you the witness within yourself? Does the Spirit of God bear witness within your spirit that you are a child of God?" What a poignant summary of experiential Christianities that arose in the wake of the Protestant Reformation. Who cares what official dogma says? Have you yourself experienced the Spirit of God?